Since 2000, residents of 11 houses and 2 businesses on West End Road, Blackbrook, St Helens have suffered serious flooding to property. The frequency seems to be increasing and modelling suggests potential of danger to life in an extreme event. St Helens Council, the Environment Agency and a wider partnership have developed a plan to reduce the severity and the frequency of future flooding whilst providing wider environmental and community benefits.
The issues that the residents and businesses have in this location is a different combination of flood sources in the area. We have combinations of the 2 watercourses, Clipsley Brook and Blackbrook, which drain into a relatively low return period culvert. We also have issues with groundwater and also surface water.
The Sankey catchment is varied in character from rural to very urban. Pedr Jones of Waterco explains.
From the Carmill Dam, the Blackbrook flows through the Sankey Valley Country Park, where it splits into the disused St Helens Canal, parallel with the watercourse, which itself becomes culverted after joining the Clipsley Brook. Key reason for the frequent flooding is the location of the properties at a very low level in what amounts to a bowl with restricted outflow. The results from our hydrology study and the subsequent hydraulic modelling confirmed that ever-increasing, more frequent rainfall events will continue to lead to flooding conditions at the affected properties within our study area.
The rich industrial heritage of the Sankey Valley has had a strong influence on the hydrology of the valley today.
The opening up of the canal was quite important in terms of opening up this area for development, and it's been an area that's been heavily industrialised for many years. An old copper mill, an old steel mill, and opening up the area for coal has left a legacy which has affected quite in interesting ways the hydrology. More importantly as well, I think, is that the legacy of that historical works also impacts quite significantly on the water quality as water seeps out of the mines and the mining areas and mining legacy.
Due to many constraints, traditional engineering approaches have not provided a viable solution to the problem.
Flood risk at Blackbrook and St Helens is affected by the capacity of the channel downstream, the culvert structures. The capacity of those structures is significantly small enough to make a difference and affect water levels upstream. The capital solution that would be required would mean opening up and enlarging those culverts to provide the capacity required. There is a limited amount of money available for flood risk management, and we have to make sure that we do the appropriate thing in the appropriate location.
A broader approach has been taken to develop options which we wish to pursue.
We've assembled a team of stakeholders with a range of specialist interests, ranging from hydrologists to land managers. We're also people with interest in the heritage and biodiversity of the area. The idea is to try and balance out the interests and get multifunctional benefits whilst improving the flooding issue. Each measure has been modelled to see how effective it will be, because one of the issues is trying to make it cost effective to try and get funding, but we also want to be able to try and get funding not just from flooding opportunities but also from other things like biodiversity funding and stuff like that. So we have a range of measures now which we're going to pursue and hopefully try and get some funding for.
Here is a working example of one of the options, a series of 4 debris dams and willow hedges across the Stanley Brook Valley, providing a water management, habitat and water quality improvements.
Natural England's been involved with this project from the start. Our involvement with this particular site has come about because it's a triple SI, so we have statutory duties towards it. But we've kind of moved beyond that in terms of the partnership working we've been doing here, and we were involved straight off with the optioneering stages, trying to identify solutions within the site to maximise kind of the environmental benefits alongside the flood defence benefits from the works. And obviously one of the things that came out of that was the sort of creation of these debris dams and the hydro break hedge behind as well. And so this part of the triple SI of Stanley Bank Meadows is a triple SI for its woodland, and this area it's wet woodland. We're having problems because the hydrology in this area has been modified historically, because it used to be a reservoir that's then been breached and it's dried out. So this project, as well as providing the flood defence benefits, has also allowed a more natural hydrological function and basically restored the floodplain across this area to allow the wet woodland to start to develop.
It's been a pleasure to be invited to help out and work on the Pedr Dam project, because Groundwork has got a long-standing relationship with this area. Groundwork started in the early 1980s, and the first project that was actually delivered through Groundwork Trust in St Helens was down on the slitting mill, which is part of the project. The relationship we have with the local community has a construction team and build team, which involves a couple of paid construction managers with 2 apprentices that are always on the books at any given time, which are learning, those guys are learning horticulture and landscape management. So we were pleased to get involved with actually physically constructing and clearing some of the willow scrub and backfilling, primarily initially doing the staking work and then backfilling with the felled timber and replanting a new willow screen. And that's our involvement in the project. So I say it's been a great chance to have 35 years worth of involvement on the site.
Sankey Brook currently fails the European Union Water Framework Directive and needs to achieve good ecological status by 2027 near natural conditions in the water environment. Since the installation of these 4 engineered log dams, monitoring has been conducted at 13 monitoring points in collaboration with Newcastle University, this being Stanley Brook, a tributary of Sankey Brook. Key parameters that have been analysed include nitrate, phosphate and suspended sediment concentration. Orthophosphate is implicit in eutrophication and water quality decline, and orthophosphate shows a significant reduction as water flows through 4 natural barriers. And so at the top, the inflowing waters have an orthophosphate concentration around 4 milligrams per litre, and the outflowing water has a concentration of 0.2 milligrams per litre on average. Indeed, the water quality improvements can be seen with the physical eye, with more turbid inflow and a clarity of outflow below the dams, and this is demonstrated in the suspended sediment concentration data and abiotic probe measurements through the site. And now this site currently makes the focus of a PhD study, with monitoring equipment being visible here, to quantify the rate of sediment accumulation behind each dam. And it is therefore feasible that if these measures were adopted throughout the valley, that they could be used to target diffuse pollution and bring the status of the brook closer to good ecological status, a key objective of the European Union Water Framework Directive.
By taking this approach across to the whole Sankey catchment, we can develop a plan which will improve the catchment for community and the environment.
The Pedr dams are just one example of what we want to do. We want to create other options such as wetland to attenuate a lot of the flow. We also want to create wildlife habitat. We also want to deculvert areas and streams. A long range of things we want to do. But that's at Stanley Bank. We're now up at Billinge on Blackbrook, just behind me. We need to widen the scope of the work out to the whole catchment, particularly in the top end of the catchment, the rural area, such as round here, Billinge and Rainford, and work with landowners to start looking how we can slow the flow and filter the flow to improve water quality. The idea being then to make the catchment less reactive, less flashy, and doing less damage to channels and wildlife. This also will help to make stuff we do further down more effective. This is really the role of slowing the flow in a catchment plan.